I'm Rebecca Ann.
And I'm Luke. Today we're going to teach you 5 different war games.
These games are quick. Only one time through the card deck. There's no need to get old and gray playing these war games.
We are using the basic card deck from the RightStart Math for all these games, and they will get progressively harder with each game.
These cards are ideal for a couple reasons. First, they don't have suits or shapes to count in the center of each card. This reinforces the visual need of understanding numerals, which we call subitizing.
Second, the numerals are unique, eliminating the confusion between a 6 and a 9.
You can find a link to order these cards from RightStart Math below. Please like this video and subscribe to get more math card games. There's plenty more to come.
You need 8 of each number, 1 through 10, to play all of these games.
These games coincide with the RightStart Math curriculum, or you can purchase a math card game kit that will help any child alongside any curriculum they are currently using.
Shall we get started?
Yes. Okay, first we're going to set up our abacus. So we want to make the stairs. So we're going to move the beads over. We're going to move them all over at one time, all the way from 1 to 10. This will help with subitizing, which is the instant recognition of our numbers.
First, we're going to flip over 1 card each. The higher number wins. We're pointing at the abacus to show which numbers are which.
Pointing to the abacus at the very beginning, especially when you have a new learner, when it comes to subitizing, really helps that instant reinforcement.
When 2 of the same card flipped over, you're going to flip over a second upside down, then a third right side up. The highest number was all 6 cards. Since we are only going through this deck one time, we will only flip 1 card upside down.
We're going to continue our way through the entire deck. Every time we get a war, we'll flip 1 card upside down, and winner takes all 6. Remember, this game is excellent for subitizing, which is the instant recognition of numbers. So if you have an early learner, make sure you're pointing at the abacus every time to reinforce what these numbers mean. Additionally, have them say those numbers out loud each time.
At the end of each game, in order to figure out who won, we're going to measure the decks against each other rather than counting. This is more effective and faster.
As you can see in this image, you can easily tell who won.
To get started, take your decks and measure them against each other to find half. Then give one to each person.
Each person's going to divide their decks in half, and then get your abacus and whiteboards ready.
Next, flip 2 cards over and add them together. I am demonstrating 3 plus 4 on the abacus.
I am demonstrating how to add on the whiteboard.
Your child should start off on the abacus so that it's easier to see and visualize the numbers. Then move over to the whiteboard.
We prefer a whiteboard over paper and pencil because it's smoother and it helps struggling writers enjoy writing better.
We use wet erase markers because it has a finer tip and keeps the board from getting stained.
We're going to continue on with the game using our addition strategies that we have learned in the RightStart curriculum. Every time you flip over 2 cards, say the full equation, such as 10 plus 7 equals 17. This helps you know that your student is looking at the entire equation and the answer, and not just comparing the values of the cards on the table to decide who wins. This is an extra reinforcement you don't want to miss.
Here, I'll be showing you 2 ways to add 5 and 7 on the abacus. The first is the complete 10 strategy, where you add 7 on top, fill the 10, and then put the remainder on the bottom. The second is the double 5 strategy, where you add 7 on top, 5 on the bottom. You can complete the 10 and then find the remainder of 2.
Next, we have a war, where when we add our 2 cards together, we have the same answer. So we're going to put 2 cards face down, 2 cards face up, and whoever has the higher number wins
Takes all of it. Since we were only going through the deck once, we only flipped over 1 card upside down. If you're going through the deck twice or 3 times, you may want to flip 2 cards upside down.
When we're done, we are going to figure out who wins by stacking the cards and measuring. The next game that we are going to demonstrate for you is Subtraction War. We're going to split our deck in half and then in half again, flip over 2 cards, and then subtract the lower number from the higher number. So here I showed you on the abacus how you put 6 on and then subtract off 5 to get 1. We tied on this first one, so we have a war. We placed 1 card face down and 1 face up. Top card is 5, and we're going to subtract off 1. When you're using the abacus for subtraction, make sure you put on the full number first and then take off the number. Doing this with 1 finger, moving all the beads at the same time. Here, 5 minus 3, I have 2, he has 1, and so we keep warring. Whoever has the higher number at the end wins that round. Now, if you are practicing negative numbers, you can always take the left card minus the right card in order to get negative numbers, in order to practice that level of subtraction strategies also. So feel free to modify these games to use whatever it is that you are practicing in math. These are a great way to instantly know if things are going well and have your child say their answers as they go. Now we measure to see who won. So in Multiplication War, we're going to divide our decks in half and then in half again, flip over 2 cards and multiply them together. There are a lot of strategies that we use on the abacus in the curriculum, and I'd highly recommend reviewing these strategies in order to know how to properly use the abacus for the multiplication. So here I'm discussing how you can look at it with him and different ways to think about some of these multiplication facts. I'm showing also how you can have a couple different levels of math knowledge playing the game at the same time. You can have somebody writing the numbers and somebody else using the abacus if they're just learning their facts. But as we go through and see these different pictures on the abacus, it really helps understanding of math facts. So here's 9 times 3. It's helpful in order to see that the top 3 rows could be 30, but we're 3 away from it. So it's a math strategy called multiplying by 9s. So as we go through some of the more complicated equations, we put on the abacus. So here we put 8 times 7 on the abacus and take a look at what that looks like, calculate it together. Here we're practicing the 9 strategy again. And we're just going to keep on, and whoever has the highest number each time we flip 2 cards over wins that round. So here we've got 7 times 7. We're going to put that one on the abacus because 4 times 1 is very simple. And I particularly like 7 times 7. I think it makes a neat picture on the abacus. So it's something that I remember actually very easily because of the abacus and those pictures that it creates. So we've got 7 times 3. We put that on the abacus for practice. So if it's something that we understand really quickly, we just keep moving on and make the game as quick as possible. Here, 9 times 9 again. We're seeming to be practicing more of these 9 strategies in this game. So Luke was guessing a little bit, and so I had him put it on the abacus so that we can see what it looks like. And so we got 9 rows of 9. You can easily see that each row is missing one. Oh, nope. Roll it back. There we go. So 9 rows of 9. We're 9 away from 90. And then he was able to see it right away and know the answer. So if you find somebody's guessing a lot, then put it on the abacus and take a look at it together. Here I did 8 times 6. We did it before a different way. This way we're showing them a new way. Hey, let's look at it a different way. The last game we are going to demonstrate for you today is Check Number War. Again, divide your cards in half and then in half again. Flip over 2 cards, and then the highest check number wins. This first one, we actually had a war, so like every other war game, we flip over 1 card and then flip over the next highest card. Now these are check numbers, and so this is not just basic adding. If you don't know what the check numbers are, then I would really highly recommend you getting the RightStart Math curriculum. Check numbers are very helpful when it comes to checking your work. It simplifies numbers, they can even be really big numbers, into a single digit, which then you can determine if your addition or subtraction, multiplication or division problems are correct. This is an excellent strategy in order to do tests that are multiple choice, especially tests like ACTs and SAT tests. So I'm not going to go into a lot of detail as to what check numbers are, because it does take a little bit of explaining, but this game is excellent for practicing check numbers because they're done a little bit differently than regular numbers. So if you're very specific and you're watching the game that we're playing, if you're just adding the numbers, sometimes it looks like we have it wrong, but we're actually declaring our check numbers. At the end, we're going to measure, see who won. We actually tied. Awesome.